Hello. Now I'm late to the party, as always, but assumption videos have come back. They've come back in the masses, actually. In fact, I would go as far as to say that the only thing that's been done more on YouTube is Lana Rhodes. Well, hey, love points! Love objectifying women. Anyway, the other day on Twitter, I asked you guys to make some assumptions about me. I came up with this idea myself. Because weirdly, despite me uploading for almost 5 years now on this channel, I actually don't really feel like I've revealed that much about myself. The reason being, of course, because I'm an undercover spy. I work for the government. You've clicked on this video now, so I've got hold of all your bank details. It's too late to go back on that one, I am sorry. Now that I've got your home address and you can't exactly go back on it, you might as well just watch the rest of the video. Anyway, today I'm going to be answering your assumptions as honestly as possible. Alright, come on then, let's find out how much of an awkward loser virgin you lot all think I am. You're a massive Tory. No, I'm not a Tory. Don't like Boris too much. I'm just gonna put a Tory counter in the bottom corner of the screen because I feel like it might be useful. You have run out of video ideas. Yup, welcome to today's video where I read your assumptions. I think that one probably speaks for itself. You regret the times you featured in a Memulous video because it's brought over dead traffic, hurting your channel's performance and progress. Yeah, I hear you. Being on George's channel back in 2017 brought in what was a lot of new viewers for me at the time, and most of them have gone now. If you are still here from those days, the massive shout out to you because most of those people dipped really quickly. So I guess you could say in that respect it kind of did have like a negative impact on the channel growth. I mean, weirdly, despite what you think, it wasn't actually being on George's channel that resulted in most of the dead traffic. It was actually those god-awful I know what Memulous looks like videos, which obviously I'm quite ashamed of now. But yeah, to answer the assumption, yes, I do think that short-lived spike, like, it's not really good for anyone's channel, but overall I'd say that it brought in enough people to create like a much nicer feeling of community around this channel, which was something that I didn't really have as much before. George 100% created that for me, and I think he's done that for a lot of different channels, and I don't think he even really realizes. Maybe besides people like Louis and like some of the bigger ones that he's like actually aware of, but like for me I don't think he has a clue. And I mean, not to mention the fact that if it wasn't for that video I wouldn't know quite a lot of my best friends now. So like, yeah, no, I definitely don't regret it. Like, I'm glad that I met the people that I met. I reckon you sit down to piss. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. For a treat, maybe. Definitely something we need to normalise that. I can't say I do it myself, but thank you very much for the idea, Jake. You still have at least 2 more pretending to be Memulous style videos prepared in case you're ever completely out of video ideas. Not really, to be honest. You see, now that I've done it once, I don't really think that I'd ever get away with it in the same way again because I've done it already. Especially since George covered it in a video, so people are very much aware of it. So I can't really imagine it ever really doing as well as it did the first time. Plus, I feel like the thing that made the video good was the shock factor that it actually worked. So if I did do it again and it went the same way, I don't think it would be as shocking anymore because it's like it's already been done. Or even worse, it doesn't go nearly as well as last time, so it just looks in comparison. And if that isn't enough, George has already kind of expressed the fact that he doesn't really like it when people do this type of thing, which you kind of have to understand. So unfortunately, fake Memulous is dead. Rest in peace, fake Memulous, you will be missed. I think it was an alright video, but it is kind of a one and done thing. You're actually a professional rapper. I mean, I don't think that's an assumption, that's a tried and tested fact. Weetabix, the Lil Puro diss track, they're all generational bangers. You're a Tory. Yep, that's 2, let's keep it going. You're a Tory, alright, that's a hat trick and it's only been a couple of minutes. You can call me Sadio Mane. You actually enjoyed being bald. I'd say there were pros and cons. The amount of time that I saved in the shower was an absolute godsend. Rushing through the shower in the morning when I had no hair to shampoo made me want to stay bald forever. But then the moment I stepped out of the house on a cold morning and it felt like the top of my head was about to evaporate, I couldn't wait for a full head of hair. It was actually so cold. I think the occasion and the situation was 100% worth doing it with like the whole sub race and everything, even if it did make me look fresh out of an EDL march for a solid couple of months. Yeah, I didn't mind it too much, but I probably won't do it again. You want to pursue YouTube as a full-time career and you're mainly doing A-levels as a backup option. Yes and no. I don't really like having YouTube as a career in the forefront of my mind whilst I'm doing it because I love making videos. So motivating myself purely by saying, oh, I might make a couple of quid in a bit, like I don't really want that to be like my main motivation for doing it. My main motivation is just to entertain people and create a strong community. It's not really about the money. But at the same time, if it comes, it comes. Like, I think I made a joke in my last video talking about like trying to tell my parents that I want this to be my job because I do want this to be my job, but I don't really want to force a career out of this, if you get what I mean. I sort of want to just keep it fun, and then if I end up making enough money to live off it, then I will. So I guess in that sense, you're 100% right in saying that my A-levels are sort of my backup option because YouTube is what I want to do. But obviously I'm keeping all my options open. Like, I'm probably still going to go to uni, I'm probably still going to get a real job. So yeah, I hope that explained it. You have a huge foot fetish. I mean, it depends on my mood, but like I usually don't. That was way too convincing. I don't have a foot fetish, I promise. You are a Tory. That's 4. You secretly want to lose the sub race because you want to write me a love song. I am completely impartial in this sub race, Owen, because it is basically a win-win. If I win, then I get to hear an Owen Powell love song about me, and if I lose, then I have the pleasure of writing a love song about him. There's literally no downside. It's gonna be lovely, wholesome content either way, and we are very close to hitting 7,000, so if you want to get us there, if you want to hear Owen write a love song about me, then subscribe to the channel because we are getting extremely close to 7,000. Thank you very much if you have subscribed, you're honestly a god. GW stands for Tom Gets Willy. If we can get through one video without that getting mentioned, then that would be class. You regret starting the podcast because now you CBA with it. Yeah, I should probably talk about that. I think what my problem is sometimes is that what I think of as good content changes so quickly that I find it really hard to just stick to one thing. So the direction that I want to take the channel now could be very different in 2 months. Like for example, if I take you back to late March this year, coronavirus has just shut down the world, everyone's stuck inside, and I was really determined to try something completely new. I had always wanted to start a podcast before that point, but for some reason I had this overwhelming feeling right then and there that I could actually make it good. Just looked in the mirror one day and saw Joe fucking Rogan. So in a very hashed lockdown decision, I decided to just go with it, and my plan was to churn out podcast episodes that I was hoping would just get better and better as I start to get more and more interesting guests on, and also my interviewing skills get better and better. That was the plan. But fast forward a couple of months, and it just doesn't really interest me anymore. Which is really weird because podcasts are some of my favourite things to listen to. Like here are some podcasts I listen to. I listen to quite a lot of YouTuber podcasts because they're some of my favourite YouTube content. But I don't know, I think for now I just sort of want to focus on making one-off videos the absolute best they can be, because that's what works in the YouTube algorithm much more than what a podcast would ever be. Also, the views on the podcast in comparison to like normal videos kind of speak for themselves. So yeah, I hope that explained it. It triggers you when people think you're a Tory. Yes, I cry myself to sleep anytime I hear anyone utter the T word. You wish you were taller. I don't really mind my height. It's not as if I'm like small, so like, I can live with it. But if I had the freedom to change it, yes, I would definitely make myself a few inches taller. I'd say that the 6 foot to the 6'2" bracket is quite nice, and I'm 5'9", so yeah, no, a few inches would be nice. I wouldn't mind a couple more inches at all. For some reason, a lot of people seem to be surprised when I tell them that I'm 5'9". Like, genuinely, every YouTube event that I've been to, without fail, someone has come up to me and said, "Oh, I expected you to be taller." Yeah, and I expected you to be funnier, but you know, you win some, you lose some. If I could make up for that expectation of being taller, then yeah, I definitely would. You and Owen secretly have a family channel. When the baby arrives, then yeah, soon come. Yeah, we're hoping that the baby's as funny as Owen and as good looking as me. Would be the perfect child, that. To cut all the jokes for a second, I genuinely think that out of all genres of content on YouTube, family vlogging is the main one that I just do not f with in the slightest. I mean, maybe I'm missing something, but to me, the idea of bringing an actual living human into the world and then essentially using them for YouTube clout at an age where the kids can't even really consent to be part of the channel. If you as a parent genuinely think that's a good idea, you shouldn't be passing on your genes. I'm sure the Ace family are lovely people behind the scenes. I'm actually not that sure. I just cannot imagine putting my hypothetical kids through that when it like, oh, it's so bad. A YouTuber who I'm a massive fan of called Andre Turbia made a video talking about family channels, and he covered basically all the points that I want to make about them. This is an assumptions video, I'm rambling massively, but if you want to watch that, then please do. He makes a lot of great points in that video. Yeah, no, I didn't mean to go off like that at all. Moving on. I get a vibe from you that you're one of those super popular people who don't really talk to / like anyone outside of your immediate friendship group. I mean, I really hope I don't give off that vibe. I want to be as open and approachable as I can. I mean, I guess you're sort of right in saying that I don't talk to that many people outside my immediate friendship circle, both my real life friend circle and my YouTube mate circle. But if anything, I think that's the thing that makes me not super popular, because I don't talk to that many people. So no, Maddie, I wouldn't say I feel like that, and I really hope that's not the vibe I give off. Very sorry if it is, that's not intentional at all. You're actually quite shy and or reserved in real life. Yeah, a little bit. I think once you break down my barriers, I'm alright, and I like to think that I'm able to have decent conversation. But at the same time, I'd say that talking to new people has always been a little bit of a struggle for me. Like, I have this weird irrational fear of social situations. Like, I genuinely love my friends so much. Like, I'm so lucky to know the people that I know. But even before, like, socialising with them, I still sometimes feel, like, anxious. Like, sometimes the thought of interacting with another human is just like, ugh. Like, even if it's someone that I really like, it's so bizarre and I can't explain it. So if you are someone that feels like that as well, please just remember that, like, you're not the only person that feels like that. Like, it's easy to feel like everyone else is just fine and you're not. But if you feel anxious before talking to anyone, just remember that the person you're talking to might feel anxious as well. It's nowhere near as strange and weird as what you'd think it is. motivational speaker TomGW, bloody hell. Green Day is your favourite band, if so elite taste. I think if we're talking all time, then yeah, I would say that Green Day's probably my favourite. Until the most recent one, I genuinely don't think they've ever made a bad album, and I'll still listen to the bad one. The shy, lonely kid side of me is really coming out of me now. Yeah, Green Day are the band that I grew up listening to the most, and I still adore them now, so for that, in terms of like the longevity, I'd say they probably are my favourite band. In terms of artists that I listen to the most now, I'd probably say the Arctic Monkeys, the Wombats, Jamie T, 21 Pilots, Catfish and the Bottommen, they're pretty good. I'm basically the human embodiment of those TikToks that go, look at me, my music taste is better than yours, please worship me because my music taste is better than yours. You secretly love the Shags Crisps meme as it gained you a little bit of notoriety, if for all the wrong reasons. I mean, it was a fun time, wasn't it? I mean, people who are newer to the channel might not actually know about my long, rich history with crisps. Basically, I used to shag them, or at least according to a bunch of big YouTubers, I used to shag crisps.
Basically, TomGW shags crisps.
I never really minded it because, as you said, Connor, it did gain me a little bit of notoriety, and like it's a fun thing to associate with the channel, like it sticks. Also, it's not exactly a serious allegation, is it? I mean, if it was TomGW shags kids, then that might have been a problem, but TomGW shags crisps, it's fine. Normalised shagging crisps 2020. Yeah, you're spot on with that one, Connor. You don't actually like your friends and only hang around with them for views and shit. I mean, Isabel, I'm pretty sure you've said that as a joke, but let me just reiterate the fact that that is literally the least true one yet. I am so grateful for the community that I've found on YouTube. Like, genuinely, I love you lots of pieces. I guess what a lot of you see is me and a couple of other YouTubers trying to work together to branch out and make the best videos we can. And I guess if that's all you see, then you assume it's some kind of like working relationship. I can assure you that even if YouTube was shut down tomorrow and there was never another word spoken about YouTube, I would still be very good friends with the people that I've met on here. I don't want to go through and name names as if this is like an award acceptance speech, but like, you guys know who you are, and I fucking love you lot. You make Tory jokes as a way to hide the fact that you actually are one. I think on that note, we can probably end this one here. Thank you very much to everyone who sent me assumptions. Somehow we got like almost 100, so I'm very sorry if I didn't read yours. But yeah, no, thank you to the people who sent one in. They were, for the most part, very good. Oh, you can go away. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, because obviously we're trying to get to 7K. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys next time. See ya!